The Honda S2000 is one of the best sports cars to ever come out in the late 90s and early 2000s, so it's no surprise why you'd want one. Even if the Honda S2000 is a great sports car, it's still not perfect because let's be honest, no car is perfect. Just like any used car, it will come with certain issues that you'd need to know if you want one. I did the research so you don't have to. Here are the most common issues of the Honda S2000. Rust. Rust is almost expected with older Hondas. Yes, rust is more common with older Honda Civics, but the S2000 is no exception. This is one of the most common problems you'll hear from Honda S2000 owners. The rust protection of Honda wasn't the best, so it's best to check the underside of the car. The usual culprit is salt that is used on the roads when it's snowing, so I guess it really depends on where you live. But it won't hurt to be extra vigilant. Timing chain tensioner. If you hear a distinct rattling sound coming from the engine bay when you start the car, this is usually an indicator that the timing chain tensioner or TCT is on its way out. If not dealt with as soon as possible, it can cause the timing to slip out and could potentially cause damage to your engine. This is because Honda's OEM TCT is not strong enough to support the power that's being produced by the S2000. So if you're planning on buying a Honda S2000 with the intent of modifying it and adding more power, you would need to change it to an aftermarket heavy-duty timing chain tensioner. Misfiring. Now we all know that the S2000 has a reputation for having an indestructible VTEC engine. However, it's still far from perfect. Some S2000 owners have had issues with the engine misfiring. This usually happens when the car struggles to get the right air and fuel mixture because of a vacuum leak. Other reasons why the S2000 engine would misfire are because of dirty fuel injectors, old spark plugs, and worn coil packs. So you will need to carry out general maintenance such as replacing the spark plugs, changing the coil packs, and making sure that the fuel injectors are flowing well. Grinding gears. Shifting gears in an S2000 is a very satisfying thing to do, but it can also be very frustrating because grinding gears are pretty common with the S2000 when it's cold. You will notice it more when you're shifting into second gear. You will need to wait for the transmission fluid and shift the grease to warm up before you can start feeling that satisfying shifting. If the grinding doesn't go away, a good remedy for this is by using Honda's high-temp urea grease. Just pop off the shifter, apply grease on the entire shifter assembly, and you'll be on your way. Noisy rear wheel bearings. The rear wheel bearings of the S2000 are notorious for wearing out quickly. They tend to go out quicker if you do spirited driving, do track days, and you have stock brakes. The reasoning behind this is the S2000 has a non-ventilated rear disc brake setup. The heat made from the disc brakes gets transferred to the wheel bearing, and it could only take so much, causing it to mess up and make an annoying noise. This won't happen to every S2000 out there because it purely depends on your driving style. The usual fix to this is by changing the stock disc brakes to vented ones. High oil consumption. The S2000 is known for high oil consumption because of its VTEC engine. That's just how VTEC engines operate. So expect to be topping up quite frequently as it goes through oil as much as a liter for every 1,000 miles. So always check your oil levels. It's also a good idea to ask the current owner of the S2000 you're looking to buy if he has kept up with its oil maintenance. If he or she can't give you a straight answer, don't be afraid to walk away from it. Because if he has been running the car with the oil level being too low, you'll start hearing knocking sounds. This usually indicates broken bearing shells. So regular top-ups are a must. Changing oils frequently is also advisable. Every 6 months or 6,000 miles, whichever comes first. Now, should you actually buy one? Of course, the S2000 has its fair share of minor issues, but isn't that with any other used car? Even brand new cars have issues. However, once you fix these minor problems, you'll be driving in one of the most rewarding sports cars. And it will be with you in the long run because it is a Honda. They generally last forever if maintained properly. These are just some of the most common issues with the Honda S2000. So it's good to know about these things if you're deciding on buying one. Are there any more issues I didn't include in this list? I would love to know in the comment section below. And if it's not a Honda S2000 you want and you're after a Toyota MR2 instead, I made a video last time on the common issues of the Toyota MR2. And with that being said, thanks for watching, keep safe, and I'll see you on the next video.